Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world today. Welcome to Radio Works, and I am Sharmila Pillai. I am your host for today. And today I wanted to share a little bit about my story. I am a business coach. I specialize in relationship capital in any business, really, and I work with entrepreneurs in the service-based business. Now, one would say, why have I chosen to do this? Well, I have personally used relationship capital to build my property portfolio. Now, in the last 3 years, I've built a property portfolio, and I built it from zero to a multi-million pound property portfolio within a span of 18 months. And this was while I was in full-time employment. So that has helped me to leave my job. I left my job a year ago, and in that time frame, I've also built my coaching business, and now I'm starting to speak, hence the reason why I'm here having a chat with you today. Now, life wasn't always like this. I am originally from Malaysia, and I moved to the UK many moons ago, and it was in my youth, my early 20s. And one of the things that happened shortly after I moved, I guess like most 20-somethings, I enjoyed life a bit too much and found myself in debt. So rather than rely on my family, I'm more independent. I said I got myself into this and I'll get myself out. So I got myself a part-time job. I finished my professional qualifications as an accountant. Now, don't judge me because I'm an accountant. And I got back into the working world and managed to pay off my debt over a period of time. Now, from then on, the next 12 years in the corporate world. So I've got about 20 years experience in the corporate world, mainly working in financial services. And it was a great life. It gave me an opportunity to travel, to meet different companies, global companies around the world. I got to see many countries, and I also got to build my own team. And one would say, looking from the outside in, that is a great life. And why would one choose to leave it? And it was a great life. However, when I sat and reflected, I had a comfortable life, I had a good career, good family, but something was amiss. There was something amiss, and I couldn't quite figure out what it was. And that led me on a journey of personal discovery, personal development. For the last 5 years, I have been on the road of personal development, and that's when I came across property or real estate, as some would call it in North America. Now, the thing with real estate is it's always been a part of my life. My parents built 2 houses while I was growing up. My grandfather always talked to me about building his dream home ever since I could remember. He'll have this small piece of paper where he'll be outlining the plans for his house, his dream house. Sadly, he didn't quite live to see that dream come to fruition. That property had been something that had been a part of my life for a long time. And when I was exploring what I should do next to step out of the corporate world, property seemed a natural. And I realized that I had a gift for it, because I was quite passionate about it. And when I see a property, I could visualize how it could be. And so that's when I embarked on that journey of education and starting to build a property portfolio. During this process is when I realized how important relationship capital is. And most people, myself included at the time, underestimate the value of relationship capital We tend to focus when we're building a business on financial capital and how do we go out building it. But no one person builds a business on their own. You need others to build a business effectively. And through my journey, I have learned that collaboration is one of the strongest assets that you can have for building a business. Collaboration and relationship capital. And one of the ways when people think about building relationships, they think about networking, I have to go to networking events. Can be daunting for some people. It was daunting for me initially as well. And then I came to realize that we build trusted relationships every day with our colleagues, our peers, our bosses, classmates, family members. That's all relationship building. However, we don't see it that way because we're more relaxed. It happens naturally. Once we put it into the context of we need it from a business perspective, my mind went into a block. It went into a different mode. Where I was when I met one of my coaches, and I was struggling to grow the property portfolio. And through working with him, I came to learn that building relationships can open doors in more ways than just financial capital. And that's what I wanted to talk to you today. I mean, the easiest way to start is by leveraging the existing relationships that you have in your life. Most of us don't know the quality of the relationships that we have. And what I have done as a result of my journey is that I've built a system to follow through on your networks that people are building. Right. One of the main flaws in building relationships is people focus on what do I say when I meet someone for the first time. They always say first impressions are everything. Yes, first impressions are everything. However, when you want to build a relationship, it goes beyond the first impression, beyond that first meeting. It's how do you follow up with them that matters. And this is where a lot of value is lost. Right. So what I sat down to do is I built a system on how to follow through, and I learned it through trial and error. And I have found that when I focus on when I meet people, and I'm genuinely interested in people when I meet them, and I'm focused on them and what do they want, I find things come back to me when I need them, right? So for example, when I look to build relationship, I look at what is the most successful relationships out there. The most successful relationships out there are those that are built on mutually beneficial grounds. Excuse me. And when you're looking at it from a mutually beneficial point of view, then you're ensuring that the relationship grows and it flourishes and it's not just a one-way track. This way, you ensure that you can do business or interact or help someone over and over again. It's 7 times more resources to begin a new relationship than it does to cultivate or nurture an existing one. So I'd encourage you, before you go out and say, I have to meet new people, find new people, look at what you already have and see what you can do with relationships that you've already built. Over to you, Marina.
Wow. You know, I'm listening to you and I'm thinking our listeners would have in their mind one question that perhaps they never had the courage to ask themselves before. What is the relationship I have with myself. So at what
that's a
point,
great
because you explained to us that everything was going really well, but something essential was missing. it was your dark, and as if you're delivering other people's high expectations and you're living somebody else's life, and you're all in, doing your very best to deliver what people expect of you, but you could not connect with yourself. You felt that disconnection from your soul, from your what makes you passionate and excited, and even you had a brilliant, successful career. You're traveling the world. You had relationships and to build, and with great big brands, and it was all amazing, but not enough. So what made you think there is more? What made you look inside, stop chasing these earthy goals, and stop the race to pause and think, who am I? What is the relationship with myself before I go out and I create relationship with total strangers? Do I know who I am?
That's a very great question, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because that's precisely what I went through when I took stock and had a look. I mean, it wasn't the first time that I stopped and reflected on the direction my life was going. But it was 5 years ago when I came to the point, and maybe many of you can relate to this, is path, because that's the path, that's the path that your family, your friends, and all go down. It's like, get a good education, get a good job, settle down, and so on and so forth, and build a family, and that's the life that you lead. And it came to a point where, when I did sit down and reflect, it was a state that, yes, I've built a successful career, I've got a great family, I'm surrounded by wonderful people, yet something was amiss, because I was not aligned with my inner self. I had actually gone down this journey, and it's been a great journey, don't get me wrong, it's made me the person that I am today. However, 5 years ago, I came to the realization that there is more, and if I'm not in alignment with myself, then I'm not living my purpose. I'm not feeling on purpose. And since where I am today, I realize the energy, the enthusiasm. There is a spark that just comes from within when you're aligned with yourself. And it's been a journey. It's still an ongoing journey of discovering myself. It's like an onion. You got to peel the layers and work through it. And it was a case of saying, I'm established, got responsibilities, got a house, got a mortgage, got a car, got a family, etc. How do I start all over again? And this was a question that I thought about many nights. It came to the point where, when working through my personal development, working through myself, I realized that I can still have what I want and be able to meet all my responsibilities. Yes, there's a lot of hard work that'll be involved, but I've never been afraid of hard work. I've done that all my life. So it's a case of mindset and reflecting inwardly rather than outwardly. And if you are looking at my life and reflecting on it, I do realize there have been key moments in my life where I have deviated from what is expected normally in my society. For example, my decision to move to the UK. I was working in Malaysia. So I had studied in Australia. So I finished my education in Australia and I moved back to Malaysia to work. And after a couple of years, I decided I wanted to move to the UK. I wanted to travel, which was the reason that brought me here. I quit my job. I had no plans, and I just moved over here to do that. A 2-year plan has now become, an 18-year plan. And it's moments like that. And 2 years later, I had a job opportunity to move to Ireland. And I didn't know anyone in Ireland, but I just made the decision. It was in the industry that I wanted to work in. And something inside told me it was the right move. I made that move and I moved to Ireland for 18 months. So look back, there was the key turning points in my life were driven by my inner voice. And the results show that when I do follow my inner voice, I do land on my feet and things work out. So that gave me the momentum to say, okay, I think now it's time for me to take another leap of faith on my inner self and to see where I need to go, in what direction I need to go. Over to you, Marina.
Wow, you brought to mind what Warren Buffett said. He said that chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken. So, what is your key message to our listeners? Because I'm sure that each one of our listeners, at some point or another, felt that the need to either allow that inner voice to speak up or kill it, because they delayed too long the moment when they start listening to their own heart, to when they finally were very close to open that door that I've been talking about. And you heard me saying this before, that door that once is open, nobody can close it again, because this is from where I'm standing, I see you becoming this extraordinary person and growing into the person who can deliver her own life purpose. And that only happened when you decided to open the door into your own heart. And once in, you could never look back. That's history. Everything else is history. So you are growing and you are making the difference. You are making the fortune, and it's contagious. It's something about you that inspires people. It's something about your story and the way you look at life that make people think, wait a minute, what I'm missing, what is that I don't know. And I think those are the moment when people who meet you will think, maybe I should look at life with a fresh pair of eyes. Maybe I should shorten that distance between the longest distance anyone can ever make between their heart and their mind. Maybe I should look at ways to be true to myself, to embrace my vision and deliver the golden version of myself. So what is your key message for our listeners? And personally, I'm mesmerized by you. And I think you didn't even scratch the beginning of who you are. And I can't wait for your book to come out. And I can't wait to hear you speak. And I can't wait to have you back on our show. So what is your key message for today?
My key message is that it's never too late. And don't ever feel that you're stuck because you've gone down this path of your career or your business, which you feel that and don't feel like you don't have any options, because there are options and there are ways out. And one of the things is, having gone through this journey, I help other people hold their hands through this journey as well. I know some of the concerns that one may have when being in this position, but it's never too late, because when you listen to your inner self and you whatever you need to get you where you're going, it will find you. So people will appear, and this happened to me even yesterday, and the day before, when I went to a couple of events, who I actually knew, I ran into them again, and they had a message for me, or they were bringing something to me in answer to a question that I was having, is how do I move myself forward? How do I need to get myself to the next level? And the next thing I know is the answer for what I'm looking for. So anyone in this position who is thinking that she has done it, or I myself have done it, what I'm saying is you can do it too. It is possible. And the thing is, you just need to take that one step. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. So take that first step, and another, and then another. And before you know it, you are already on a different path, and a path that will lead you to the person that you are meant to become.
Wow, Sharmila, thank you so much for hosting your show today, and I'm so excited about your next show, and I can't wait to learn what is so exciting and the breaking news in your life, because I know there's a lot going on. And from both of us, until next time, I think it's best to say, just set yourself free. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.